today I wanted to talk a little bit about my well, I mean explain the whole by a little bit I mean explain the whole story. Um my stalker story. Jazz fingers. When I was 18 years old, we are 18. Insert clip for we are 18.
Young but mature, sweet yet wild. Pick up the phone now. 1-800-WE-ARE-18.
I was on Myspace and I was talking to a lot of fellows, and I met this guy, and he was a little bit older than me. He was in his mid-20s, and when we first met, he told me about this sister that he had that died in infancy. And so he kept emphasizing, like, you would have been my sister would have been your age, and like he kept like equating me to this like dead sister that he had. And like, I mean, at first I thought it was sad, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, his baby sister died, okay. But then like he just kept bringing it up, and this was something that this guy was like would preoccupy his mind a lot. So like, as we got to talk to each other, he kept asking me questions about, like, because like we were local, so he kept asking me questions about like where I lived, the exact location of my house, what my house looked like, and he started asking me questions about my body. And he was really, really, really into a what is that called, home invasion fetish. And that scared the crap out of me, because he's like, he wants to know what my house looks like. He wants to know, like, like the security system, like, like if you have a window, like do you see, but he would say it in this weird way, like, do you see the sunrise when you wake up? And he was even like, I had a dream that I saw you outside of your house, and it was a 2-story house. So is it a 2-story house? And I was like, I gotta go, dude. And it would get to this point where now I realize that it's not normal that he would like call like 6 times a day. And this was before texting was like major. This was when we still had phones that just had numbers and no keypad on it. We didn't text a lot. He would just call me all the time. And not even so much like talk for a long time, just constantly be calling just to check in and stuff. And then at one point he kept wanting to meet, and I was like, oh, I'm not, I forget what excuses I gave him. Like, I don't know, like I still kept talking to him. That's what's crazy. And like, yeah, I just kept giving him excuses. And then one time he kept calling, like it was the middle of the night, like it was super late at night, and he kept calling, and he was like, if I'm at the corner of so and so street and so cross street, where would I turn to get to your house? And I was like, I'm not gonna answer this question. I'm not interested. Like, I don't want to meet you. And he's like giving me ultimatums of like, oh, if you don't meet me, I'm not gonna talk to you and stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't want to meet you. Like, that's your answer, And then finally he like broke down. He's like, I'm at this intersection. So just tell me, should I turn to go see you, or should I leave? And I'm like, just leave, please. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And like, keep in mind, like I was like so like feeble-minded, and just like, oh, I was such an insecure, like teenager. Can you imagine me? Yeah, but, and like I just remember like just continuing to keep to make an excuse after an excuse, and eventually he just lost interest, I guess, assuming, I don't know. But so follow up, 2 or 3 months later, he calls up out of the blue. He's like, what have you been doing? This, that, whatever. So I'm like, I actually moved. Like, I moved. I'm in like, I thought of some random like Northern California city. I was like, I moved. And then he's like, I came up with the idea of like I'm actually doing like this like JROTC program. And can you imagine me? And I was like, yeah, I don't have any like I can't get mail, because he was like, give me your address and I'll mail you a letter if you moved. And I'm like, no, I'm not allowed mail here. And then he says something about like our relationship. And keep in mind, we haven't talked for like months. So he's like, said something about a relationship. I'm like, I have a boyfriend now. Like, and then he's like, but I thought we were together. And I was like, oh God. And then like he finagled some address out of me, so I gave him an old address that my grandma lived in. So to this day, I wonder what he sent to that address. Like a part of me kind of wanted to like be like, hey, did I get any mail here? Like to those people, but oh man, it's so mean, that's so evil. Like I said, some serial killer stalker, like rapist to my grandma's old address. So that's who was the winner in this situation? Like who was the good, like who was the protagonist? Like that's the thing with my stories, is that there's no protagonist in the situation. And you didn't want to root for me because I was an idiot and I endangered innocent people, and you don't want to root for him because he's a weirdo. It's like nobody's good. It's sort of like Breaking Bad, where it's like at one point you kind of hate every member, like every cast member. Like that's what my stories are like. So I hope you enjoyed.